What is going on, guys? It is Lakers all day. You know how we do it in here. It's all about us. And once again, I'm recording a video and the game's not even over. Um, yes, the game's not over. They're losing currently 108 to 85 in the fourth quarter, but this game's been over. Ever since the third quarter begun, once again, the Lakers fell apart, and this is nothing new. Um, I was one to believe that we should not even consider firing Frank Vogel. But now the question becomes legit. Should we fire Frank Vogel? I mean, we see time and time again, right? The rotations are a bit iffy. The third quarter collapses occur every single time. It's either against the Bulls, the Timberwolves, the Thunder, the Spurs. It's happened so many times. And why do you keep playing Kent Bazemore? Kent Bazemore is the literal definition of trash. If you look up in the dictionary, Kent Bazemore, the definition is trash. And even in 5.5 minutes played, 2 points and 4 fouls. 4 fouls in 5 minutes for Kent Bazemore. I mean, he was getting burnt from DeMar DeRozan every single possession he got. I mean, it got to a point where he had like 3 fouls in consecutive possessions. He can't play defense. And what is he doing offensively? What does he provide to this team? And that's why I question, what is Frank Vogel doing? Now, I understand it is tough to win games when you do not have basically half of your team out there, right? You don't have a LeBron, you don't have a Kendrick Nunn, you don't have a Trevor Ariza. I get all of that. But for you to lose like this every single time, I mean, you cannot get more than one win in a row, seems like. Maybe you might get 2 wins in a row if you play a bad team. But I get it. Like, the Bulls are the better team right now. They were the favorites coming into this game. That I get that. But what I don't understand is the lack of effort, the lack of energy, the lack of pride in the third quarter, especially. I mean, they're always getting blown out in the third quarter. That's what happens. I mean, it was a relatively close game. I mean, we're only losing by about like 8 to 10 points, which is doable to come back and win. And then you get outscored 37 to 25 in the third quarter. I mean, this happens every single time where the Lakers just come out flat in halftime. What is Frank Vogel doing? I mean, it's come to a certain point where you need to stop trying out players like Kent Bazemore, put him on the bench, and start putting out rotations that you would put out in a playoff game. Because yes, I know it's still the beginning of the regular season. I know the Lakers are still in the playoff spot for seventh right now. But when I'm taking a look at the Western Conference, I mean, every game matters. And I can't sit here and just be patient with these lineups that includes Kent Bazemore, who literally does nothing. You might be thinking, oh, well, he's only been playing 5 minutes. 5 minutes is way too much for Kent Bazemore. I don't think. I think the Lakers should just straight up cut Kent Bazemore. I don't like Kent Bazemore. He is not good. Okay, but I can go into the specifics of the game. But honestly, there wasn't even much to talk about. But let's go ahead and start off with Russell Westbrook. I think he had a pretty solid game, and it's just a shame that the Lakers couldn't capitalize off of that. I mean, the Lakers right now are losing by 33. I mean, I'm sorry, 23. But to think that Russell Westbrook had a pretty good game and that they're losing by this much, that's a shame. Talen Horton-Tucker, I thought he also had a pretty solid game. Currently has 19 points and 5 rebounds. Anthony Davis, 20.6 rebounds. I mean, he got ejected because he cursed out the refs because he was trying to tie his shoes and they resumed the game. I mean, it was just an off game. This team is not right mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever you want to say. This Laker team is not ready right now. And you can just tell. I mean, last game, the Lakers won because they basically had to win. AD called the entire team out, including himself, and he went off that game. This game, they literally came out flat in the third quarter. Once again, just like they did against Minnesota. But Anthony Davis, here's my thing. I think See, this is what I was afraid of, is that we're going to shoot too many threes. We are 5 of 28 from the three-point line. That is 17% from the three-point line. I mentioned it in the last video. Just because we're good at three-point shooting now, I just hope it doesn't become a habit in which we just settle for threes. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're settling for jump shots. And instead of attacking players like Derrick Jones Jr., we decide to shoot the three for what? That I will never understand. But I'm just saying right now, AD, when he's getting double teamed or triple teamed, he needs to do a better job of learning how to pass out of those double and triple teams because he is one of the best players in the league. He is going to constantly get double teamed if he's matched up against Derrick Jones Jr. So for him to not be able to do that correctly and for him to have 4 turnovers, I get it. He had 20.6 rebounds. He did what he could, but he could have been a little more physical and honestly, I think that's a leadership thing. I think players like LeBron, players like Westbrook, they're used to being double team, triple team. They need to teach AD how to calmly get out of that kind of situation, but I don't think that's happening as much. But other than that, there's nothing really much to talk about the game. If you look at the game overall, I mean, they're losing by 23 points right now. Once again, I'm recording in the third quarter because this game, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, and it's honestly become a question where I'm starting to think whether or not Frank Vogel should be fired. In my opinion, I don't think he should just yet. I don't think it's fair for someone to just say put all the blame on Frank Vogel because what about the players? What about players like a Kent Bazemore who's just playing like straight up trash? I get it. I get it that it's Frank Vogel putting him in, but at the same time, you sign Kent Bazemore. People say Kent Bazemore is pretty solid, and you put him in, and you're trying to find out rotations. Players are constantly coming in and out due to injuries, whatever the case is. I mean, it is a tough job for a coach. I am not trying to say Frank Vogel's job is easy, because by no means is this job easy. And I do honestly believe that if you put another coach in, right, who how much better would we really be right now is my thing. But it is a fair question to ask because his rotations have been very questionable, right? The third quarter is just pathetic for us. It's just like any team can beat us in the third quarter. That's the thing. I mean, this is like the second or third time I'm recording in the third quarter because of the fact that Frank Vogel doesn't make so many adjustments. His offensive plays are very iffy. And we signed Frank Vogel as more of a defensive-minded coach. Where's the defense? Like, I get that Chicago's a good offensive team, but where is the defense? I mean, 94 points at the end of the third quarter. You're not going to win many basketball games if you keep that up. And it's not like the Lakers are doing necessarily all that great on offense either. I mean, the Lakers offensively are ranked below average, and the Lakers defensively, surprisingly, are ranked top 12, top 13. But either way, this team is by no means is in a position to win games. You can see it with the frustrations, the amount of technical fouls that are being handed out to the players, to the coaches, right? And then at the same time, you have the injuries. So you combine all of that. So who do you point the blame to at this point? Do you point the blame to the injuries? Do you point the blame to the basketball gods? They're saying, why did a player like LeBron get injured? Because when LeBron is on the court, I mean, we are always competitive, it seems like. And we would not be getting blown out by 30 unless he wasn't 100%. But he was 100% before he got hurt. But now we're in a situation like this where AD is getting in a mess with technical fouls, getting ejected. LeBron is hurt. Ariza's hurt. Kendrick Nunn hasn't played a single minute all year long. Kent Bazemore's trash. I'm failing to understand what we can do at this point to lessen the pain because I don't know how much more LeBron's going to be out for. And every game counts in this Western Conference. Looking at the standings, and I know it's only about 14 games in, but the Lakers lose this game. I mean, they're in the play-in tournament right now. And for all I know, I mean, they could slip out of the 7th seed and maybe go to the 8th or 9th or the 10th. It's very feasible for them to do that. So I don't want this to be taken lightly. Frank Vogel, should he be on the hot seat? I think he should in a sense because you are the coach of this championship contending team with 3 superstars and plenty of Hall of Famers. And you are a defensive-minded coach, and the Lakers are one of the worst defensive teams in the league. They're allowing all these teams to just score a bunch of points on them. There's no offensive plays. I mean, the offensive plays are very, very basic. It's literally just a Westbrook pick and roll or pick and pop, and it either breaks or it goes in. It's not a consistent way of scoring. And as far as I'm concerned, this Laker team is not in a position to win many, many games right now. So moving forward, their next 11 or 12 out of 16 games are on the road. I'm scared for the Lakers a little bit. I don't know how this is going to turn up. Even if LeBron comes back, I mean, is he really in a position to lift this team up to to bring this team back into a good record, or to bring them back into title contention? Are you sure he's not going to break down? Because I'm not even sure at this point. But other than that, that's all I have for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like, comment down below what your guys' thoughts were on this video, and subscribe for more. Alright guys, peace out and take it easy.